Hello and welcome to City Corner. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. On today's show, Dave Glover from KMOX Radio will join us to discuss the No One Dies Alone program. And Sally Drake from MSC Racing will share with us some great events coming up that benefit a great cause. So stay with us for City Corner coming up on STL TV. Our first guest today is a veteran broadcaster now with KMOX Radio, 1120 AM, and he's become a voice for families with hospice issues. Right now, we'd like to introduce Dave Glover to City Corner. Yeah. Dave, hey, thanks a lot for joining us here today. And, let's talk a little bit about your radio career first. You're over 25 years now in the business, and I think you started out doing some legal work with some local hacks.
Yeah, it was... There's no way I should be where I am. It was just crazy. I got my first job in radio with zero experience. I had no training. In fact, I'm the only person that was turned down by the broadcast center.
Really?
Yeah. I was making appearances on Steve and DC back in the late 90s, and my law office was in Clayton, and I walked down to the broadcast center, told them I wanted to be a radio guy, and the owner said, I'm going to do you the biggest favor of your life. Go back to your law firm and give up and forget about radio. And about 15 years later, I saw him at a party and I reminded him of that.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine. I tell you, radio's a crazy business. It's like, I remember you were on 97.1 for a long time with Katie Cruz and Tom Turbrock and some people like that. And you guys had a nice following and a really fun show.
Yeah, that was, hate to say the glory days when, hopefully they're still going or still coming, but it was just so much fun to do something that I didn't know what I was doing, but people liked it and it was successful. And then to be around great people like Tom and Katie and all the people I've had on the show with me, Mark Close, Tony Colombo over the years.
Yeah.
It was just great. Dream come true.
So you kind of did like a trade with Mark Reardon.
Yeah.
You're on 97.1 and Mark Reardon was on 1120 and you guys flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And you went to 1120 and he went to 97.1. It seems like it's worked out great for both of you all.
I think so. Mark is a little more conservative than me. 97.1 became increasingly conservative while I was on it, and KMOX just gave a much broader spectrum of audience. And yeah, I think it's been good for both of us.
Now we've got the Halloween coming up, and I understand that you went to a pretty cool little haunted event recently out in Marthasville with a guy that was on our show, Frankie.
Yeah.
Was it Frankie Gambarino?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
I almost canceled on you today because it was such a late night and I had so little sleep. I'm pretty easy to scare, but this place really scared me. Yeah.
So was there anything in particular?
So it's an old asylum that was built in the 1800s.
Oh, wow. Insane asylum?
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's an expansive place and built by the Germans back in like the early 1800s. And it's like very Scooby-Doo. You walk up and it's just immediately scary. But then they have all these ghost machines that talk to you. And so it's pretty cool.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Bethesda Health.
Yeah.
No One Dies Alone program. I know this kind of hit you at home, close to your heart, near and dear. And, your mother ended up passing away, but it really brought you a new perspective into the hospice industry. And could you maybe share a little about what you do with that?
Yeah, so my mom fell on opening day of 2024, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And spent 4 months at Bethesda in hospice. And then when she was a couple of days from passing away, someone came to us and said, hey, look, you guys are here 24 hours a day. You need some rest. We have an organization called NODA, No One Dies Alone, and we have volunteers who will take 2-hour shifts between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. and sit with your loved one. And I was just blown away. I'd never heard anything like that before. I couldn't believe that someone would do that. And she passed away the next night, 3 a.m, with one of the NODA volunteers. And I decided pretty quickly that to honor her memory, I would become a volunteer. So I went through the pretty extensive training. It took a few weeks, and I've been doing it for about a year now.
Wow.
And so a couple times a month, When someone is imminently passing, they're within 48 hours, I will take a shift and I'll go in and spend 2 hours holding their hand, reading to them, playing music, whatever they want.
So are most of them conscious or some in and out or?
No, they're for the most part unconscious, seemingly to us.
Okay.
But, you always hear these stories that they know more than you think they know. And just the other day, I was sitting with a woman and her adult granddaughter came in for a visit, and I stepped out to give them privacy, and she passed away within 10 minutes of the granddaughter leaving.
Oh, wow.
So you never know about those things.
So how important is it, do you believe, to have someone by your side or by their side when they're, towards the end of their life? If they're on hospice, it's pretty much just a matter of time. It seems like it'd be very important to the family to be able to step away, but have someone there.
Absolutely. It's important for the family. I think it's very important for the person who's passing. We all live our lives. We do good things, we do bad things, good people, bad people. But what I've seen in sitting now maybe a dozen times with a dozen different people, everyone deserves dignity at the end. Everyone deserves to have their hand held.
Wow. So it must be, pretty fulfilling to you. And there's also a program called the Hospice Caring Companion Program. Now, is that, a symbiotic relationship with that?
Yes. So what typically happens is they will assign you a couple of hospice patients who are not imminent. They may have 6 months, 3 months. They're usually cognizant and conversant, and you visit them once or twice a week. Same thing, bring them treats, read to them, talk to them, just to keep their spirits up.
So Dave, how has this impacted you being a part of this program?
Probably the best thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah. I was just telling Sally in the green room that people in our business get too much credit for doing philanthropic stuff when all we do is show up and MC an event and get a free chicken dinner. So this was a challenge to me personally because I'm very uncomfortable, as most people are, with the dying process. And so I thought if I can do something that's difficult for me that actually helps people, maybe I'll deserve a little bit of the credit I get.
So how can someone get involved with this hospice program?
So if you contact, I do it through Bethesda. There are some other hospital groups that have other groups. But if you go to BethesdaHealth.org, there's a section for No One Dies Alone. And I was just telling Sally earlier that when I started this, there were about 15 volunteers. And now we're up to about 100. And it's just been wonderful to meet these people and see them and what it means to them.
So it's BethesdaHealthcare.org. I just saw the graphic was up there.
Yeah.
.org. And if you're a volunteer, what should you expect, when you're getting involved with the program? How much time would you, maybe put aside for it? And, what are some of the things you need to do?
I would say count on a weekly visit with your assigned person or persons. They usually do a couple. And then a couple times a month. Sometimes you'll go a month without a call. And what happens is they'll send out a mass text and say that we have a vigil tonight at Bethesda Dilworth, and who can do the 6 o'clock shift, who can do the 3 a.m. shift, and you just put in, and then you go in and you light candles, and you read about the person. They give you a little dossier on their life, and the pictures of their family, and it's incredible.
Wow. Anything you'd like to share more about that before we move on?
Yeah, I would say the first gentleman I sat with was named Ron. And he obviously he was in bad shape. He was passing away, but he looked especially bad. And I was actually able to make him laugh. And that was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat, right? It's got to give them some dignity, like you said, at the end of their life. Let's lighten it up a little bit. You do a lot of fun things around the St. Louis area. You've got your Bud Light softball shirt on, or is it softball?
It's baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah, this past year I got a wild hair, and I joined a 60 and over baseball team. I just turned 60, so I'm the young pup. And it's a blast. A couple of other media guys, John Hewlett from Casey, Danny Buck, and Bob Ramsey are all on my team.
No kidding.
And what I found is it's just like Little League. It's just like Little League, except everyone's slower and they can't throw the ball to first base.
Are there a lot of walks and things, or do you guys hit it off a tee?
It's like really serious. The guys take it really serious. But yeah, like very few of the guys can make the throw from third to first.
That's funny because I remember going into softball because it was hard to see the baseball in the outfield anymore. So the softball was much bigger.
Yeah.
One of our great friends here at Inside Sports is the new executive director over at the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, Ed Wheatley. And I know he still plays a little baseball, and he's pushing 70.
Ed plays on 3 or 4 teams. He's a force of nature.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're that, 7 years old, still slinging the baseball around. He says J.C. Corcoran even plays every now and then.
Yeah. I should have given you the video. My first at bat this past season, and I hit it up the middle, and I'm running to first base, and I was a sprinter in college. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I was flying, and get to first base, tear my quad immediately. So I got 1 at bat. And Dan Buck had filmed it for me. And when I watched myself running, it was sobering to see how not fast I am.
But you feel like you're going fast, but you're just...
I felt like I was flying. I thought everyone in the stadium is going to think, oh my gosh, this guy's so fast. And it was embarrassing.
That's funny. There's a picture right there. You and, is that Ozzy?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's on my Facebook page on my main one. Well, anyway, Dave, it's been great having you on. I know we got to get you back to work today. Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts on the on the hospice topic? And one more time, how can you get involved?
So go to BethesdaHealth.org, and I would say that if you're uncomfortable and you're not sure that you could actually do a vigil and set with someone who's passing away, you can just do the visits, and you can also just send cards. So there are all sorts of levels of interaction that you can get into.
BethesdaHealth.org.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Dave, for joining us here on City Corner. We appreciate it, and continued success. In 10 years from now, today will have been the glory days.
That's right.
How about that?
Thank you, Todd.
We're going to take a quick break, but stay with us because Sally Drake from MSC Racing will join us on the flip side. We'll be right back.
Did you know that you can watch STL TV on your smartphone or tablet? That's right. STL TV is available on your Android or iOS mobile devices. And that includes our live broadcast channels as well as video on demand content. It is really easy to get started. Just find the App Store on your device, then search for Cablecast. Select it and click to install. Launch the app, and if you're in the St. Louis area, STL TV should be the first channel to show up. If you're not in the area, you may have to scroll down to find it. So just click on the STL TV logo, and in just a few seconds, you're enjoying STL TV's great programming such as City Corner, Inside Sports, City Government, What's the 314, or my personal favorite, In the Kitchen.
And welcome back to City Corner. I'm Todd Blackstock. Joining us now is the owner and race director for MSC Racing, Sally Drake. Sally, thanks for coming on today with us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I was doing some research and just playing on Facebook and things, and I saw what you do, and I was so inspired by it. Can you tell us a little bit about the background of MSC Racing?
Sure. MSC Racing was not actually founded by me. It was founded by a gentleman by the name of Rich Adams. He had produced the St. Louis Triathlon and a triathlon in Carlisle, Illinois called Capex. And at the time, he was getting out of the race directing business, and he asked me, hey, if I give you everything I have to put on the St. Louis Triathlon, would you do it? And I said, I was involved and helped him with some races. And I said, well, let me sleep on it. And I didn't know how I would do it. His family helped him a lot, and I didn't know how I would do it. But I woke up the next morning, I said, I can't let those races go away. So yes, I'll do it.
Wow.
And since then, we've added, and we're up to 23 races in 2026.
23 races in 2026?
Yes.
And you do this all by yourself?
Not all by myself. I have an amazing crew behind me.
Now, have you always been in racing? Because, you look like you're quite fit, and you look like you could be a great long-distance runner yourself. What inspired you to get in racing? Did you start running and doing marathons after you started this, or were you doing that before this?
Yes, actually I started with running, just running 1 mile runs and 5K runs, organized races around town. And then that led to marathons. And then that led to a friend saying, hey, you should do a triathlon. It's fun. Taught myself how to swim, did a triathlon. That led to later 13 full Ironman triathlons between the ages of 30 and 40. And then I started my own business, and that's when Ironman stopped. Wow. It's very time consuming to train for that.
Well, you do a lot of coaching. I'm looking here. It says you're a level 2 USAT certified triathlon coach, an Ironman coach, race director, master swim coach, and then you run a triathlon bike shop and club, amongst other things.
Well, so I founded Swim Bike Run. That was the business I was talking about. When I stopped doing Ironman, I opened up Swim Bike Run triathlon shop. Actually, that shop is still going strong. I'm not an owner any longer, but the manager there is a gentleman that I hired, James Codwright. I just came from SBR Bikes and Brews, which is the new name for the shop, and they're in Chesterfield. It's a wonderful shop. They've added a coffee shop to it, and James and his wife Elise run the show there. They're amazing.
Wow. Well, let's talk about some events coming up, and a recent one. I understand recently in Cottleville, you had sort of a Halloween type event.
Yes.
Themed.
Yes, so much fun. So we created a running event piggybacking off of the Witches in Cottleville, which is a beautiful event with thousands of people that come out, women, a lot of women dressed as witches, and there are warlocks there too, but it's a huge event for witches. We piggybacked off of that and worked with the city of Cottleville and the chamber to create this Run Witch Run. So we had all the runners dressed up in witch costumes, warlock costumes. We had so much fun. It was fantastic. My whole crew had witches hats on, so we had a blast.
Wow. So it was in a neat little park. Was it like through the streets, that old town area? Or was it back in the Legacy Park back there?
Legacy Park, which I had never even seen that park. It was absolutely beautiful. And a lot of golf carts up through there, I guess, to get to neighborhoods. Well,
everyone in Cottleville drives golf carts. People think it's like way out in the country, because when you get there, you're like in the country.
Yeah.
But it's like right off the Page extension, like 20 minutes from St. Louis. So you just take one exit and you're there.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
It's beautiful.
You do have an event coming up in Baldwin in the very near future I want to discuss.
Yes, the Baldwin Moonlight Howl. And that starts near the Wolf Cafe. Yes, and the runners howl at the moon at the starting line.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. It's been going on for years, and yes.
So it's Friday, October 24th?
Yes, 9 p.m. So the runners will run in the dark. We have the paths well lit with lanterns to lead the way, and arrows. It's really easy for them to follow and very safe. We have a lot of volunteers out on the course. So it's a super fun event. And then a lot of the runners will go to the pub that's underneath the Wolf Cafe, owned by the Wolf, but it's a brew pub. And so they'll go in there and warm up with some beer and have fun. It's a really fun evening.
I mean, there's nothing like running a triathlon and then having a couple of frosty cold ones,
yes. Right? It's just a 5K run, but yeah.
So 5K, it's not like a marathon.
No, it's not a marathon.
Now, do marathons take like how many weeks and months, after running like a 26-mile marathon?
Yes.
How long would that take a body to recover?
Good question. It depends on the level of fitness and when they start the training program. So if somebody comes to me, if I'm coaching somebody for a marathon, and they come to me and they have no fitness, I'll tell them give yourself a year at least
to recover.
To build some endurance, and also core strength is very important for those longer distance races. It's helpful in any distance. And then if they have a certain level of fitness, or they are an experienced runner, then it might take more like 6 months to train for a marathon if they have some running miles under their belt.
So what about the recovery process?
Recovery is important with marathons, triathlons, and again, depending on the distance, they can be very grueling, and a full Ironman will take up to a month to recover.
It seems like a 15-round heavyweight fight, because when you get done, you're pretty much out of commission for a couple of days while your body heals. What sort of things as a coach would you recommend, hydration-wise and food intake? What would you put in your body before and after races?
Good question. That's something that I coach athletes on. That's like another discipline. We have the swim, the bike, and the run, and fueling and mental toughness. So very important that they get enough hydration, electrolytes on a daily basis.
So Gatorade?
Gatorade. There are some really, there are a lot of different electrolyte options out there. Gatorade, we love. Gatorade's a sponsor of our events, so they give us Gatorade. So we have that out on the course. So I do encourage athletes to try that out and make sure it works for them because they might be using it on race day.
Right.
But fueling and hydrating before and just eating healthy generally. There's that old carbo loading, which is not necessarily a true thing. So carbo loading, as long as they're eating healthy, they'll be fueled for the run.
Sure. You've got some other events coming up. You've got the Defiance Dash, the Shivery Ice Trail Run in January. That'll be in Maryland Heights. And let's talk about, we've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
The She Dreams Bigger event. It's a retreat. And I know that's kind of another thing you do. I guess it's all connected somehow, but you've got your races and now you have the retreat.
Yes, and I just recently rebranded. It was MSC for women. So MSC stands for Multisport Experience Racing. And as in an effort to promote my retreats, I put that under MSC for women. The retreats have really grown in popularity, and that business is growing into its own little business. So I rebranded to She Dreams Bigger, and that's where we have our retreats. We do have a She Dreams Bigger leadership retreat. I also have a lot of women's adventure retreats, one specifically in Camp Manitowoc coming up in October.
Neat.
And a rock climbing retreat. They can bundle and do the rock climbing retreat and the adventure retreat if they want to, and it's for all levels of women. They don't have to have any fitness if they don't want to. If they don't have fitness, they'll fit in just fine.
Let's look at the screen right here. We've got the rock climbing retreat, October 15th through 17th, and we'll go ahead and pick it up from there.
Yes. So October 15th through 17th, we'll stay at Camp Manitowoc for that retreat, and then we'll have a passenger van take us to beautiful Giant City State Park, where we'll do rock climbing. We have instructors there that will work with all levels. Yes.
Giant City, okay.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then we have the women's retreat, and then at the very bottom there, the graphics down, it was the Innsbruck retreat.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful place. I mean, I wish I could have afforded to get into Innsbruck.
Yes, Innsbruck Resort is one of my favorite places on earth. So lots of lakes and beautiful homes that you can rent. So we're renting a few big homes for the weekend, and the women are coming out. I have some wonderful facilitators that will help inspire the women and teach them new things to build their businesses. So we're really excited about that one too. I have a chef coming. We'll explore Innsbruck as well.
Now, as a coach, what's your philosophy with all this?
I just like to see people getting out and moving. And so as a coach, as a race director, as a retreat and event producer, my goal is to see people come out and just be more active. So inactive people, come out and play. We're just out there moving our bodies. All levels are welcome. We try to accommodate all levels at our endurance events. And my retreats, I will talk to anyone about any fitness needed for the retreat.
So is there information if someone would like to get involved or participate in some of your events? Yes. What should they do?
Yes, they should go to mscracing.com. They can look at our schedule of events under the events tab. They can look at for women is the tab that they would go to for the retreats. And then there's also a contact us page where they can reach out to me. I will get that email with any questions that they have about anything.
That's so fun. How important do you think it is to stay in a non-sedentary environment? Because how many people work 9 to 5 and they just sit behind a computer all day? I do it several days a week. Is there an option to be more active while you're working? As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw this out there.
Yes.
One of our managers, Asia Miles, she has at her desk a standing desk where she stands. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant because instead of, it's like being on one of those paddle boards, you know, like in the water, you're standing while you're doing your things. Is that good for you?
Yes, it's good for you. Sitting is really not that great for our bodies. So the more you can get up and move and the more you can be at a standing desk where you have the option to sit or stand is definitely better for your body. Get out for a little short walk. I have a dog, so Archie gets to go for a little walk if I need a break, but it helps me be more productive and be more peaceful at my desk and content if I continue to move my body.
And it makes you feel better too once you're being active and moving around. I mean, what's the benefits of your health and your body and your mind?
Mentally, it gets your circulation going. It will make you sharper. When you do sit down to work, you'll definitely feel better and more relaxed. And my concentration level is always better if I can get up and move a little bit. And so my tip would be, don't feel guilty taking the time away from your computer, because when you come back to your computer, you will be more productive.
Any final thoughts before we let you go? And one more time, if you could give us the information.
Yes, mscracing.com. You can find all of the information there. And I would just say, come out and play. All of our events are welcoming. We would love to see you out there. Just come on out and see what we have to offer.
Well, Sally, thank you so much for joining us here today on City Corner. We really appreciate it, and continued success.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, it's my pleasure. Well, that's our show for today. We'd especially like to thank our studio guests, Sally Drake and Dave Glover, for joining us. We'd like to thank you for watching City Corner on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.